Breaking news from the New York Times. Bucket bomb strikes London's vulnerable underground.
The Prime Minister of British raised the national threat level to the highest status, critical.
Islamic State had admitted that they are responsible for this attack. Moving on to the next breaking news. Mexico earthquake kills hundreds, trapping many under rubble.
Powerful earthquake shook Mexico the second time just in 2 weeks, and at least 216 people were killed. Good afternoon, I am Thomas.
Good afternoon, I'm Chang.
A bomb, which was wrapped in a plastic grocery bag and concealed in a bucket, exploded at 8:20 a.m. on Friday at the height of the morning rush. The explosion and panic left 29 people injured, but none of them were killed.
The bomb exploded just after the train drew into Parsons Green, an elevated station in a quiet and affluent part of West London. It burned at least one passenger who was carried away on a stretcher and led to a stampede that injured others.
It was the fifth terrorist attack in Britain this year and the first to hit London at its most vulnerable point, mass transit, since the 2005 bombings that killed 52 people.
The Islamic State asserted responsibility for this bucket bomb hours later in a message of its unmarked news site that said a detachment of its disciples had carried out the attack.
Prime Minister Theresa May, who called the blast a cowardly attack, said the national threat level had been raised a notch to critical, which is the highest.
The police were combing through the extensive CCTV footage that blanket all underground stations, with particular attention to the handful of stations to the west of Parsons Green.
Furthermore, Roy Ram, a former commander of specialist operations at Scotland Yard, said the police would be undertaking a comprehensive forensic examination of the train and the device to determine what happened.
Tensions were heightened in the neighborhood after the police sealed off several nearby streets and buildings, including Lady Margaret School for Girls, where students were kept under lockdown for hours.
Moving to the next news, a powerful earthquake struck Mexico on Tuesday afternoon, toppling buildings, killing children in a school that collapsed, and rattled the capital and sent people flooding into the streets for the second time in just 2 weeks.
Early Wednesday, the director of Mexico's Civil Protection Agency, Luis Felipe Puente, said on Twitter that 216 people were being killed, revising an earlier toll of 248.
Rescuers were frantically digging out people trapped under rubble, including the children buried beneath their school, volunteers at the scene said Tuesday night. At least 21 students were believed to have been killed in the collapse of the school.
The earthquake hit shortly after 1 p.m., about 100 miles from Mexico City. It registered a preliminary magnitude of 7.1, causing heavy and prolonged shaking in the capitals. About 40 buildings and other structures in Mexico City collapsed, including at least one other school, officials said, crushing cars and trapping people inside. Emergency workers and ordinary citizens raced to the site of downed office and apartment buildings, lifting rubble with their hands to free anyone stuck underneath.
In parts of the city, the wreckage was evident immediately, including damage to the main airport, shattered glass and the splintered edges of buildings built onto sidewalks. Nearly all residents of the capital remained outside even after the shaking had faded, fearful of returning to their buildings.
Life nevertheless continued to go on, and hope that those who were injured physically and mentally in both incidents could get well as soon as possible.
That's all for the breaking news.
Thank you.